Ovation of the Seas is Royal Caribbean's third Quantum class ship, and she is packed with lots to see and do on board. It's a fantastic vessel. Whether you're visiting Alaska, Australia, or anywhere else in between, you're going to find a lot of fun things to do packed on board Ovation of the Seas. And today, I've got a full ship tour of Ovation up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and today we're checking out Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas, and we're going to start off with a look at the pool deck. Ovation of the Seas, being a Quantum class ship, is going to be pretty noticeable on the top deck, because you've got some really cool features that really adorn the top part of the ship, including, of course, the pools. But we're going to talk about the North Star and a couple other features as well. But it wouldn't be a Royal Caribbean cruise ship on the top deck if it wasn't a pool deck, and there are two main pools that we'll talk about. There's the main pool, and there's an indoor pool. There's also Splashaway Bay for kids to enjoy if you're looking to go for a swim and splash around, or maybe just watch the kids do that. That's always nice as well. There's two decks to the pool deck on Ovation of the Seas, the upper pool deck and, of course, the lower pool deck. This is pretty much true of all Royal Caribbean ships. And as you walk around the main pool deck, you're going to find, well, a main pool to go into. Now, keep in mind, this video tour was taken on a cruise that was sailing to Alaska. So if this doesn't look like the warmest Caribbean or tropical vibes you've ever seen, understand that is why, but the ship tour should still hold up. There are hot tubs as well to enjoy, on just like anywhere else, and you'd be surprised whether you're going to Alaska or the Caribbean, how many people love hanging out in those hot tubs. You'll also find the Sky Bar. You're looking for a drink, nice place to grab one and enjoy the view, or maybe just go back to your chair and enjoy your drink there, along with, or maybe back in the hot tub. You got plenty of choices when it comes to where to relax, and it's really nice to be able to grab a drink up here and take in the views of the pool deck. You know, during a regular pool day, this will be a very busy area. Now, as I mentioned, Splashaway Bay is available for kids to enjoy on Ovation of the Seas. Splashaway Bay is the aqua park that offers water slides and dunk tanks and plenty to do as well. My kids actually really love this whirlpool type pool where you can kind of swim around in circles. It's best described as almost like a toilet bowl, which is not a very flattering description, but I promise it's a lot of fun for them because they get to swim around in a direction, and for some reason, the kids love it. And Splashaway Bay is great for families really to enjoy because there's something for them to do while they're, and I actually enjoy just sitting around watching them go up and down the water slides, back and forth. And on a ship that doesn't have water slides otherwise, this is really your best choice for kids who are looking to kind of relax and have some fun, because for them, you know, just sitting in the pool isn't nearly as fun as splashing and chasing each other around. And that's what you're going to find here at Splashaway Bay because there's plenty for them to do. There's also a very large movie screen on Ovation of the Seas by the pool deck to enjoy. So they've got movies, they'll have fun videos there during the daytime, something usually playing on there. Now, as I mentioned, there's plenty of seating around the pool as well. You'll have lounge chairs, chairs that you can actually sit in with tables in them. So you usually find a good assortment of seating options. Again, depending on how busy your cruise is and where you're going, there may or may not be that much competition for these seats out there. But on pool days, you'll find it pretty busy. And of course, it wouldn't be a pool deck without ice cream. Yeah, whether we're in Alaska or not, there's always time for ice cream. Sprinkles ice cream is complimentary. Just go there. They give you as much as you like, and it is a great way to, you know, have fun on a cruise. Ice cream is the way to go. All right, let's move down the pool deck a little bit and check out some of the rest of the deck and the seating that you'll find. There's also a good assortment of chairs on Ovation of the Seas. Something Royal Caribbean's been doing with their more newer ships, hey, peace to you too, is that you get a nice assortment of seating and comfortable chairs to enjoy. So it's not just, you know, the same old, same old. And this area that you're looking at is actually the smoking section, but you'll find these kind of seats elsewhere to enjoy if you want to have more of a kind of relaxed, maybe you're reading a book, you want to chat with some folks. I really like this area because it's covered in the shade, so that means you're not baking in the sun necessarily, and it's kind of relaxing in there and just a nice place to kind of chill out. All right, we're coming up on one of the restaurants on board Ovation of the Seas, which is Fish and Chips. So Fish and Chips is a specialty restaurant that costs extra. You pay as you go. It's not a cover charge. You just pay for what you order. And as the name kind of implies, this is a seaside seafood restaurant. So you've got nice views of the ocean, in addition to being able to choose different items like a basket of freshly battered cod, fries, and it's basically this British classic comfort food that you can enjoy. They've also got chicken fingers, the Alaska pollock sandwich, and a couple other things. So it's great, you know, pool deck food, and it offers you something a little bit different than just the usual fare. Fish and Chips is one of these restaurants that you don't usually find on many Royal Caribbean ships. It's not a widespread restaurant. It's something kind of unique to Ovation of the Seas, and there is seating to enjoy your food while you're at the restaurant, or you can take it anywhere back to your chair or back to your room or anywhere else in between. So if you're in the mood for fish and chips, this is the place to go. Next up is the indoor pool deck. The indoor pool deck is, as the name implies, an indoor pool. And what's great about this is it's always perfect swim weather in the indoor pool area. This is available to all guests, not to be confused with the Solarium, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but this is available to all guests. And the roof is retractable, although in most cases it remains closed, which allows them to control the weather in there. And there's a pool, there's the hot tub, there's the pool bar as well. And it allows really all guests of all ages to enjoy the pool. And unlike the other pool, which is outdoors that we just saw, this one is, of course, indoors. You can still see through the glass on the top, but it is enclosed, so it protects itself from the weather, which is great for its Alaska itineraries because, as you can see, sometimes it gets a little gray out there. But even in the Caribbean where it can rain, this is a nice feature as well. And being a Quantum class ship, Anthem of the Seas and Quantum of the Seas both offer these indoor pool areas, and I really like them because, you know, I'm not a big let's go sit in the sun all day kind of guy. I like having some weather where I can still be by the pool, but still enjoy everything that's there. And of course, at the pool bar, you'll have plenty of drinks to enjoy. There's also waiter service on Ovation of the Seas, not to make you think you have to go there in order to get your drinks. But if you've got the drink package, that's a good place to start. All right, here is the Solarium. So this is the adults only pool area on Ovation of the Seas. And similar to the pool we just saw, this also is enclosed, but the setup is a little bit different. So the Solarium is available for guests who are 16 and above, and it offers, well, a dedicated area for adults to enjoy. So it's basically your own little area of the pool deck with, again, great seating, great views, and I really like the pool area. In fact, I think the pools on the Quantum class ships are the most beautiful layout you'll find on any Royal Caribbean cruise ship. I just like the way that they've designed it. It just looks very, very pretty. There's also the Sunshine Bar, which is the pool bar in there. And of course, you'll have waiter service as well. I think what a lot of people love about the Solarium, number one, of course, is that it's an adults only area. If you're looking for a quieter experience, not necessarily like library, because there's still adults in there who are having drinks. They're going to be a little loud perhaps, but you've got an opportunity to go here and not have kids nearby. And for adults, that can have an appeal to it as well. But in addition, you've got some really comfy chairs, also climate controlled in here as well. So there's an appeal there. Next up is one of my favorite secrets about Ovation of the Seas, the bridge wings. Located right off the Solarium are two bridge wings that you can enjoy. Fantastic views. Again, you're just looking at this amazing sunset, but even during the daytime, if you've got views of the ocean around you, the ship, this is the best selfie spot on the ship. And if you just want to get pictures of the ship while you're not in port, this is your next best option here because it jets just over the side of the ship to give you a nice view of the profile. And of course, when you're traveling to amazing places like Alaska, boy, what a great spot to be able to see what's all around you without any hindrance of what may be otherwise blocked by other parts of the ship. And it's just really a great spot. So whether you're taking a selfie or you want to capture what's around you, this is definitely the place to go. All right, back into the Solarium we go. We're going to keep exploring Ovation of the Seas. There's a lot to see on board. And did I mention the pool area looks really cool? I love this cascading pool idea. It's just really pretty. It's, you know, at the end of the day, you're still in a pool, you're still relaxing, it's still fun. But I love how they've done this particular pool layout. And I just think it's a really great area to hang out in for adults. They really are big fans of it. So you have that whole area just for yourselves. No kids below 16 allowed. Also located in the Solarium, but available to guests of all ages, is the Solarium Bistro. The Solarium Bistro is honestly another underrated and kind of a secret of Ovation of the Seas, in that a lot of people don't know that it exists, but it is a complimentary restaurant that serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what's great about the Solarium Bistro is not only is it very uncrowded compared to other options for you for any of these meals, I really like the fact that they offer something a little bit different. They have the classics in here, right? But if you're looking for Mediterranean style food or maybe some vegetarian options, this is a great spot. But it's also fantastic for breakfast because they have the full omelet bar option, which is usually much less crowded than what you'll find in the Windjammer. And on top of that, you've got some really good choices of salads and everything really in between. It's really a great choice because most people don't know it exists. So if you're walking around and the Windjammer looks a little busy, maybe you're getting on board the ship and you're looking for something a little less crowded, then the Solarium Bistro is good. And as I mentioned, while it is located in the Solarium, it is available to guests of all ages. So yes, you can bring your kids in there. The kids just can't hang out in the Solarium afterwards. Also, they got some really interesting chairs in the Solarium, which is kind of neat. I like that Royal Caribbean kind of tries to jazz it up a little bit when you're going into certain areas of the ship with the seating, and just, nice to see something different than just your standard lounge chairs. All right, let's go up one more deck to the Jogging Track. So Royal Caribbean does have a Jogging Track on Ovation of the Seas, and it's on the top deck here, and that allows you to walk, run, jog, whatever you'd like to do. There's two sides to it. Technically, one side is for walking, one side is for running, but how much people adhere to that is questionable at best, so keep that in mind. And of course, we have one of the signature activities on Ovation of the Seas, and that is the North Star. The North Star is the observational capsule that you can go into that'll take you up above the ship, actually 300 feet above sea level. It's incredible. Now, the North Star is sometimes costs extra, sometimes is complimentary, depends on where your ship is. Usually while you're in port, North Star is complimentary, and then at sea, it costs extra. But what's great about North Star is it allows you to have amazing views around you, especially when you're in port. My goodness, the scenery is incredible. There's also the North Star bar if you're looking just for a nice place with a great vantage point, have your drinks with a view. North Star bar is the way to go. When it comes to the North Star itself, my recommendation is try to make a reservation before the cruise if you can via Royal Caribbean's Cruise Planner. They do sell out very, very quickly because demand is usually pretty high for it. And of course, being the top deck of the pool, you're gonna have plenty of views as well, but there's just nothing like the North Star because it just goes up there. It's really cool, and if you're worried about heights or you're scared of that, I understand that. It's really a tame experience. It's not too bad. And here is the North Star bar, and they're preparing some drinks. Man, I could so go for one of these drinks right now. I don't care if it's in Alaska or not. There's something just about being on a cruise ship, having a cruise drink, that certainly makes it a very, very fun experience. If you happen to be cruising on Ovation of the Seas to a place like Alaska, one of the nice things about a ship like this is there is so much public space on the top deck. A lot of people talk about, whether or not you should get a balcony room or go for an inside room and whether or not it's worth it to get that extra space and private space on a balcony. But I'm going to tell you, it's really nice having the pool deck because there's so much space up there. So don't feel like you have to get a balcony. Next up is the Suite Sun Deck. This is an area on the pool deck just for suite guests. So if you're a suite guest, your key card accesses this area, and it's a dedicated area just for you. Walking back, where you're going to find more seating, although, of course, we're here in Alaska, so, some of the seating is not necessarily being used because this is not a warm weather situation. If the sun was shining and if the temperatures were in the 70s or 80s, Fahrenheit that is, then you'd find plenty of seating over here. So keep in mind while the chairs are stacked in this video, that's because we're in Alaska. But under normal conditions, when it's warmer weather, there's plenty of seating. Now, like any Quantum class ship, there's special art on board, and on Ovation of the Seas, it is a mother and child panda, kind of cute. There's also the rock climbing wall, which is complimentary to do while on board Ovation of the Seas. Different tracks for different skill levels, and the idea is you get all the way to the top, ring that bell, and then realize how high you are above the deck and go down very gingerly. But it's a lot of fun and a good challenge, and it's complimentary, so why not? They provide all the gear that you're going to need at the rock climbing wall. All right, let's keep heading back down the deck, and let's go down to the sports area. There's some other things to do on board here. First of all, you've got the iFly area. This is Ripcord by iFly, where you go to do your skydiving simulator. Yeah, Ovation of the Seas has a skydiving simulator where you can feel like you feel if you jumped out of an airplane without actually jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. Ripcord by iFly is complimentary in a lot of cases, although sometimes it does have an extra cost to it, but it allows you to, well, feel like you're skydiving. And we'll get to that in a second because first we got to take a look at the Flow Rider, which is available. Yes, there are people flow riding in Alaska. Look at all that steam from the warm water. Hey, it's heated for you, but it's something to do. And evidently that heat is also fogging up the Ripcord by iFly. It's like someone took a shower in there. But anyway, it is what it is. People are on vacation. You got to have fun. And if you ever want to try out what it's like to surf or try to surf, you've got the Flow Rider, which offers also boogie boarding and stand-up surfing as well. Up to you which one you'd like to do. And the Ripcord by iFly is an interesting experience. I tried it once. It wasn't quite for me, but a lot of people wanted to give it a try. And hey, listen, at the end of the day, it is still significantly safer than jumping out of an airplane, which I'm all about. And of course, being on the back of the ship, great views of the wake behind you. And it actually leads to one of my other favorite secrets about Ovation of the Seas, and that is some of the outdoor seating in the Windjammer. We'll get to that in a second, but you kind of saw the stairs that lead you down there, so keep that in mind as we look back to the back of the ship. But there's something special about the aft of any Royal Caribbean cruise ship because you have those views of the ocean behind you, and it's also a little less crowded. Great breeze back there as well. All All right, rounding out the back of the ship, we're going to start heading towards the Seaplex over here again. Seaplex we'll get into in just a bit, but there's outdoor seating here as well to enjoy, if weather permitting, I suppose. But this is also where the jogging track goes. And it's also an entrance to the Seaplex to get back into here. And the Seaplex is the indoor sports deck area. Royal Caribbean spent a lot of time designing the quantum class cruise ships to be more indoor focused. That way they can go to places like Alaska or anywhere else where the weather is not so great. And you'll find a great variety of activities depending on the time of the day. Bumper cars, pickleball, ping pong, dodgeball. There is plenty to do. In fact, the Cruise Compass will list out different events throughout the day that you can enjoy, and most of it is complimentary, including those bumper cars, which are a lot of fun. And after all that activity, more than likely you're gonna get a little hungry, and next door is the Seaplex Doghouse, where you can get all sorts of hot dogs made custom the way you like to do it. It's complimentary here as well, so if you're in the mood for just the usual dog, mustard, and sauerkraut, you can do that, or you go to town and have all sorts of toppings, or just get it plain Jane, and they can handle it for you. There's lots of different types of sausages and hot dogs to enjoy here, so try one out. It's complimentary. Why not? Also in the Seaplex are different pod areas that you can do different activities. So as I mentioned, there's things like ping pong. There's also the Xbox pod as well. So basically each area is kind of a one-off for different activities. So that way more than one thing can occur at a time. In order to have some fun, you'll also find some pay arcade games to play if that is of your liking. Overall, I think the Seaplex is really about kind of just chilling out, doing some activities certainly, or watching other people do some activities, right? It's sometimes even more fun to see somebody play pickleball or bumper cars than you doing it yourselves, but it is an option for you if you're interested in checking it out. And there's also some interesting seating back here. If you're looking for somewhere a little out of the way where you're not gonna find a ton of people, this is the spot for you. There's also an arcade that you can find. This is the more formal arcade that you'll find on Ovation of the Seas. Of course, the arcade costs extra, but for, sea day fun, maybe the kids want to go here and check it out. This is available as well. Next up, we've got to look at the teen area. So the teens have their own area of the ship where they can kind of hang out and relax and do other events during the evening. During the daytime, it gets a little quiet in there, but in the evenings, just like Adventure Ocean, for the younger kids, the teens have their own spot, and this is where you'll find it right off the Seaplex. All right, we're going to go downstairs here. And of course, it wouldn't be a Royal Caribbean cruise ship unless there's some weird art around you. And here is the living room. This is another area just for teens. This is really the teens hangout spot. So earlier that was kind of like the disco area or dance area if you want to look at it. This is the teen hangout area, the living room. So the idea is that teens come here for different events to chill out, to socialize. And they got some interesting views and some really comfy chairs. I got to admit, I'm kind of jealous of this area because there is some seating that I would like to hang out in and be able to sit in during the daytime, but they've got some pretty sweet digs over here, TVs. And so the teen club tends to be more of a let's meet here and then go do other kind of things, but you never know, it depends on who's on there. All right, I'm hungry again. Time for the Windjammer. This is the buffet on board Ovation of the Seas. Windjammer is complimentary, no additional cost to eat here. And as you might imagine, there's a lot of selections. A lot of people go here for all meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner served at the Windjammer. And you're gonna find a good assortment of foods, from classics to exotic foods to salads to soups to really everything in between. If you are a picky eater or you have someone who is in your group that's a picky eater, this is the place to go because you're just going to find the greatest variety of food, and it's buffet. So basically the crew members serve you your food, you bring it back to a nearby table, and you can enjoy it. And there's a good selection, I got to say. Depending on the meal you're dining at, you're going to find probably something for everybody. There's also the Windjammer bar in the back if you'd like to get coffee, any alcoholic beverages. If you have a drink package or a coffee card, this is also where you can get your coffee as well in terms of espresso and lattes and whatnot. And there are always complimentary drinks as well. And what's nice about the Windjammer is it is massive. Not only is it massive, there's lots of great windows to look at. It's one of the better outward-facing Windjammers. On other ships like Mariner of the Seas or Freedom of the Seas, there are windows, but not nearly as many. I like these floor to ceiling, but the best part is the outdoor seating. If you're on Ovation of the Seas, take your food, walk all the way back. One of my favorite secrets is this outdoor seating that has great views of the back of the ship. I know it's raining in this particular video, but I'm telling you, it's worth checking this out if it's not raining because the views are amazing. So that way you can have your food and enjoy some incredible views. And in a lot of cases, people have no idea this exists. There's also Coastal Kitchen available on board the Ovation of the Seas. Coastal Kitchen is the complimentary suites-only restaurant. If you're staying in a Grand Suite or above, you'll be able to enjoy breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the cruise in Coastal Kitchen. If you're in a junior suite, then Coastal Kitchen is included for dinner only. This is an alternative to the main dining room. They say it's a California-inspired / Mediterranean cuisine, and essentially it's a special restaurant just for the suite guests, but it's complimentary, included with your suite cost, so keep that in mind. Another fun little feature on Ovation of the Seas is the see-through floor that's between the decks here on 14 and 13. So if you're feeling adventurous, want to take a fun photo, this is the place to do it. And it goes all the way down to the Esplanade. So people have fear of heights. This might not be the staircase for you. All right. You know what? Maybe you're on your cruise, you want to get swole or you want to relax. Well, the Vitality Spa and Salon is the place for you. The spa is an extra cost activity that has a salon and a barber shop and can take care of your needs, whether you want to get your nails done, get a facial, cut your hair, blow dry your hair. They've got you covered in the salon. And of course, the spa offers a number of services, massages and treatments of all kinds. Now, when it comes to booking a massage, you can book it before the cruise, or you can go while on board and make a reservation as well. That is an option for you. These heated stone chairs you're seeing, along with some of these other chambers, is part of the thermal spa. This is a pass you can buy only on board the ship. It's a limited number, and it gives you access to these areas for the duration of your cruise. You can go as many times as you want, hang out there as long as you want, and it's just simply first come, first serve. There's only a couple of thermal spa available passes, so make sure you buy them early on if you'd like to. But you'll find a good assortment of options in the spa, of treatments and whatnot. Prices are reasonable. You know, they're not the cheapest spa treatments you've ever found in your entire life, but I think they're reasonably priced. And for, you know, someone on vacation who wants to relax, they do an excellent job from start to finish when it comes to the spa, and my wife especially loves going there. There's also the Fitness Center, which is complimentary on board Royal Caribbean's cruise ships. Fitness Center is the gym on board, and you're going to find plenty of machines to enjoy. There are also classes that you can purchase. In addition, those classes do cost extra, like spin and Pilates and whatnot. But the bulk of the Fitness Center is included with your cruise fare, and that includes the treadmills and the ellipticals, the free weights, the weight machines, really everything in between. There's a lot to choose, but it's actually a very large gym. I think a lot of people are always surprised how large the Fitness Center is on a Royal Caribbean cruise ships. They just imagine it's like some, you know, Holiday Inn gym where there's like one machine, one free weight. And so, no, this is a pretty big area, and it's available to guests throughout the day to enjoy. And they do a really good job of keeping the machines up to date and working. So you're going to find a pretty good assortment of things to do. And I think probably your favorite type of machine should be available in the Fitness Center. Something else I really like about the Fitness Center is that it's forward facing, so you have a nice view of the outside area, which is really, really nice. And as I mentioned, there are fitness classes you can purchase during the cruise. There's usually a couple fitness classes every day if you're interested in that. All right, down to deck 13. And what are we going to find on deck 13? Well, you're probably going to find, like so many other decks, staterooms. Yeah, your staterooms are going to be somewhere below deck 14, and there's plenty of staterooms to enjoy, no matter where yours is located. You'll also find the conference center on board. If you happen to have a group on board that you're part of, this is where you'd go for the conference center. If you're not part of a group, you'll never see the conference center, and it looks just like every other conference room you've ever seen in your life, so just take my word for it. And of course, you're going to find the Concierge Club, which is the suite lounge on board Ovation of the Seas. You might have noticed, by the way, the Chinese characters on that sign. And that is because Ovation of the Seas was originally designed for the Chinese cruise market. So you might find little touches and signatures and signs that still have Chinese lettering on there. That's exactly why. The Concierge Lounge is where you go if you're staying in a suite. It is included as part of your cruise fare. It's where you're going to find the concierge host who can help you with any particular issues you may have. They're kind of your own personal guest services. But in addition to that, the Concierge Lounge offers complimentary beverages, alcoholic beverages that is, every evening. There's also hors d'oeuvres throughout the day. So it's a nice perk to enjoy it, and the view out there is amazing. It's kind of a hike to get there, but you know, it's available to you as a suite guest. Take advantage of it. Also available is Adventure Ocean, the kids programming on board Ovation of the Seas. So all kids between the ages of 6 months and all the way going up through the teens are part of Adventure Ocean. This part of Adventure Ocean is really meant for the 6 months old all the way up to the 12-year-olds. And the Adventure Ocean area starts off with the nursery. Nursery is for kids 6 months to 36 months old. The nursery does cost extra to it. I think it's the best money I've ever spent in my life when my kids were this age. But it is supervised childcare available that you can pay per hour to drop off your kids. They can nap, they can play, they can be fed. I'm telling you right now, as a parent, I loved the nursery because they just offered so much for them, and it was worth the cost so that my wife and I could do our own thing. But in addition to that, the heart of The Adventure Ocean area is, of course, what's available for kids 3 years old to 12, and that is the traditional Adventure Ocean. Adventure Ocean is broken up via ages. 3 to 5 is Aquanauts, 6 to 8 is Explorers, and 9 to 11 is the Voyagers. So you might be wondering, what do kids do in Adventure Ocean? And it is supervised childcare. They provide different programming for them, activities, games, arts and crafts. There's different things that they'll be doing throughout the day, and there are different sessions you can sign up for in Adventure Ocean, and there's also really incredible things to do like the science lab. But in addition, they can play games, they kind of play with each other, socialize. It's kind of like kids club, kids camp, whatever you want to look at it like that. But there's plenty for them to do, and my kids have always really enjoyed going here. Adventure Ocean is complimentary throughout the day. After 10 o'clock at night, it does have an hourly charge to it. Again, great money to be spent if you ask me as a parent. But from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m., it is complimentary, and Adventure Ocean is open most hours of the day, especially when your cruise ship is in port. It's actually open any hour your cruise ship is in port. All right, let's take the elevator and head on down. Love these glass elevators, by the way. What a great view, right? We're going to go down to Deck 10. What are we going to find on Deck 10? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, more staterooms. Yeah, no, if you're going to find your rooms on here, this is pretty much what a typical hallway on Ovation of the Seas looks like. So if you're looking for your staterooms, a lot of times people will decorate their rooms. I guess these people really love the University of Texas Go Longhorns. And here's a look actually at one of the inside virtual balcony rooms. So the virtual balcony room is an inside room with a large television that has live views from outside to make it look like you have a balcony, which is kind of a cool thing to do. In addition, there's a lot of space. This is your typical Royal Caribbean stateroom. You've got your bed, you've got a little sitting area, you've got a desk, you've got actually a coffee maker in here, which is kind of nice to have. You'll have your own private bathroom, plenty of storage space. On Ovation of the Seas, there's lots of storage space, something that really Royal Caribbean has been putting a lot more emphasis on with some of its newer ships. And as I mentioned, there is a stand-up shower in the bathroom. You've got the toilet, sink. So it's pretty much your standard stateroom. But for an inside room, it's really not a bad idea. And as I mentioned, even though this cruise was an Alaska cruise, there's still plenty of public space to be able to see what's around you while you're in your room. All right, back in the elevator again we go, because there's more of Ovation of the Seas to see. And now we're going to check out the casino on board, where I usually lose more of my money than I gain it, but it's still a lot of fun. Casino has a lot of options for you in terms of slot machines, table games, and lots of other things in between. It's fun place. You know, just keep in mind, be responsible with your gambling. For some people, it's a fun thing to do. For other people, they just avoid it altogether. But there is a casino on board Ovation of the Seas. Next door, you're also going to find the main dining room. So on Ovation of the Seas, there is not one main dining room. There are 4 separate dining rooms. This is a concept called dynamic dining that Royal Caribbean abandoned, but the restaurants are still there. So keep in mind, there are 4 restaurants with different names like Silk or American Icon Grill. Even though they have different designs, they're actually the exact same restaurant. They're the main dining room. So instead of one main dining room, there are 4 main dining rooms. They're all a little bit smaller. They all offer the same menu. And basically, one of these will be for traditional dining, one will be for my time dining. But decor aside, they're exactly the same. So don't think you're missing out on something better in the other dining room. They're just different looks to them, different aesthetics, but it is still, quote unquote, the main dining room despite the other names. I know it's kind of confusing, but just keep that in mind when you go. In terms of which dining room you'll dine at, when you get on board the ship on your SeaPass card, it will let you know which deck and which dining room you were assigned to with your table number, and then you go there for dinner. And whether you're in my time dining, which is when you can pick your own times to dine, or traditional, once you have a set time, it's a great spot. I love the dining room for meals. Dining room is open for breakfast and dinner every day, and lunch on sea days. The menu for the main dining room for dinner changes every day, along for lunch as well. When lunch is served, it's a different menu. Breakfast is pretty much the same every day, and there's a good assortment of foods you'll find in the main dining room, and I actually like a lot of what they have here. I'm a big fan of spaghetti bolognese. Got the baked Alaska there, that looks great, and a lot of other choices in between. So, you know, try it all. The nice thing about the main dining room is it's all complimentary, so there's no harm if you want to order something to give it a try, and you'll find usually something that'll really appeal to you, I think. And what's nice is they have half the menu stays the same every day, half the menu changes, so you get a good variety of things to consider. You'll also find menus available right outside the dining room in addition through the Royal Caribbean app if you'd like to, so always can check out what's available in the dining room that day. Next up is the Royal Esplanade. The Royal Esplanade is the main thoroughfare of Ovation of the Seas, similar to a Royal Promenade on some other Royal Caribbean ships. It's this area of the ship right in the middle where you've got shopping, dining and other things to do, bars and lounges. And of course, you have guest services here. And guest services is where you go if you have any issues on board your ship, whether it's an accounting issue, a problem with your stateroom, or really anything in between. If you have a question or a problem, this is your first stop, because guest services can answer pretty much any question you might have, or certainly direct you to anybody who else can help you with the issues that you're having. You've got Boleros also on Ovation of the Seas. Boleros is the Latin-themed bar, and it's actually a really large area, and I love the seating in the back. So during the daytime, it's a bar and a lounge. You can kind of sit there and enjoy drinks. But in the evening, you're also going to find live musical entertainment, and they've got different bands there that can perform. And I just love the seating they have here in Boleros. It's great for a pre-dinner drink because there's comfy chairs, lots of them, and I just kind of like the vibe in here. It's a neat area and something you really only find on the Quantum class ships, because Boleros locations on other ships tend to be a little smaller and not nearly as ornate. So I really like that quite a bit. I mentioned there's shopping on the Royal Esplanade. You'll find a couple different shops to go to if that's of interest to you. Kate Spade, Michael Kors, really all those name brand designers. If you're looking to bring back a expensive souvenir, or you've got some onboard credits to burn, hey, this might be the place for you, because after all, you're on vacation and maybe you deserve something. Maybe you want to dig at the casino, or simply you want to treat yourself. Well, then you've got some shopping to do on board the Ovation of the Seas, and you'll find plenty of things to look at, peruse, and then look at the price tag and maybe walk on out. Port Merchants is where you can find duty-free liquors and tobacco products, as well as some other things like candies and snacks and whatnot. So if you purchase any of the liquors here on board, Royal Caribbean will store it for you and then deliver to your stateroom on the last day of the cruise. And as advertised, they are duty-free. Sometimes you do have special deals and promotions that can bring the price down even more. You're also going to find here some toiletry items if you need some. Royal Caribbean does stock some toiletries for you to use, but there's not like a great variety of them, so don't rely on Royal Caribbean. It's more of a super backup in case, oops, you forgot your toothpaste, you run out of something. They may have it on board the ship. There's actually a pretty good selection of liquors to find in the store, so depending on what your choices are or what your tastes are like, you might have a good selection to choose from. And some of the promotions can be good deals or not. My advice is look at what your local liquor stores are offering and then price shop on board the ship. There's also La Patisserie on board Ovation of the Seas. This is the coffee shop, if you will. Not quite Starbucks, not quite Cafe Promenade, somewhere in the middle there. They offer lattes for extra cost, along with some extra treats there as well. And it's, again, this extra cost venue that is not a Starbucks, but does serve lattes and espressos and macchiatos for you to enjoy. There's also macaroons and tartlets and extra food. All these food, by the way, does cost extra, including those coffee drinks. If you have a drink package, it does work here. That's something that's different than if there was a Starbucks location. So you can get your lattes and everything you need over here. But again, everything does cost extra if you're interested in these items. But if you're looking for the free coffee, not to worry, right across the way is Cafe Promenade. Yes, on the Esplanade. I don't understand that either. But the Cafe Promenade is where you're going to find your complimentary coffees and teas and snacks to enjoy. So if you're looking for just the usual stuff, and the nice thing about the food offered at Cafe Promenade is it does change out daily, so you get different options there. It's available most hours of the day. There's also some water station and some lemonade and juices, along with coffee and tea. And right next door is the world famous Sorrento's Pizza. Yes, Sorrento's Pizza. We love Sorrento's because it is just so good, man, especially later in the evening. The more you drink, the more the pizza tastes even better. But I actually like it quite a bit because Sorrento's has a good variety of pizzas to enjoy. They can make you pretty much anything you'd like. If you want to do a custom order, that's another tip for any Royal Caribbean cruise ship. You can ask them for a custom pie. It takes about 10-15 minutes for them to prepare for you, but they can absolutely take care of that. And it's nice to have different varieties of pizza. You'll have the usual cheese and pepperoni, and then a couple of rotating pies that change daily. So Sorrento's Pizza is open most hours of the day and then late into the night. So it's usually a good spot for you to grab something to eat. And right next door, I mentioned it's nice after a couple of drinks, you've got the Amber and Oak Pub. This is the English style pub on Ovation of the Seas, and this is where you'll find a great selection of beers to enjoy along with cocktails. My favorite thing about the pub is always going to be the evening entertainment. The pub singer on board who plays some of the guitar favorites that you probably know from all the bars you've ever been to in your entire life. And there's a good selection of drinks here to enjoy. There's selection options you can find via the menu of the pub, or you can just let them know your favorite types of options. They can prepare pretty much most anything you need here. And the nice thing about the pub is just the vibe. It's that sing-along during the evenings, and during the daytime, it's just kind of a chill area to relax. Lots of seating. It's actually a very large space for a pub, especially in the back. If you go where kind of you're looking at right now, there's usually plenty of seats back there. It's a little quieter if you're looking for a little less chitter chatter. Moving on, there's also another shop on board, the Regalia Fine Jewelry Shop. So if you're looking for a piece of jewelry to bring back home to remember your cruise or just celebrate a special occasion, or just you want a nice piece of jewelry, the Regalia Fine Jewelry Shop is where you want to go. Walking down the Royal Promenade, you've got some more shopping to do. And there's a nice thing about this area is, again, it's kind of this district of shops, different souvenirs you can purchase. And, you know, if you have onboard credits, I mentioned, you can certainly go here and use it over there. But for a lot of people, I think they just kind of like window shopping, maybe pick up something that reminds you of that particular cruise, or in some cases, maybe you really need something because something broke or you forgot something, you can pick it up over here. But the shopping on board Ovation of the Seas is essentially a nice way for some people to just, you know, just like when you walk through the mall, doesn't mean you're necessarily buying something, but for a lot of folks, they like picking up little souvenirs. And what I like about the Royal Caribbean logo shop on board is that you're going to find Ovation of the Seas and Royal Caribbean themed items like coffee mugs and t-shirts and whatnot. Outside Music Hall, you're going to have this giant chair, which is great for photos as well. Make sure you take a photo in there. And the Music Hall itself is a live music venue, 2-story. It is a signature venue on board any Quantum class ship. It's a really cool spot where you'll have live band music playing most nights of the cruise. You'll also find other events here like trivia and a variety of other things that are happening. There's the pool tables in the back, lots of seating. It almost has that kind of a club atmosphere, like you're going to a music hall, as the name implies, kind of a music club. And it's kind of a nice, like, concert style venue, especially when the bands are playing. Oftentimes they have cover bands that play the kind of songs you know very, very well, you can sing along to. So when it really gets jamming in here, man, it gets busy, hopping, and it's a lot of fun to hang out in the music hall. There's plenty of drinks, of course. It is a bar, so there's plenty for you to see and do in the music hall, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great spot. Something, again, you usually don't find on other ships, but it's a Quantum class signature to enjoy. And did I mention there's shops on the Royal Esplanade? There's plenty of shopping on board, so check them all out. One of the great things to do on a sea day is just kind of peruse, see what's in there. You never know what you may find, or simply just walk around and see what they got. In terms of the Royal Caribbean merchandise, I forgot to mention, by the way, that a lot of people like picking up certain things. They like to collect things, whether it's a Royal Caribbean ship model, perhaps it's a coffee mug, a Christmas ornament. They have a variety of good stuff to bring home for you to remember the ship. And I kind of like that because when you're making your morning coffee and you kind of take the mug out and you're like, oh yeah, I remember Ovation of the Seas, love it. Next up, we have the Diamond Club. So the Diamond Lounge is a spot just for Crown and Anchor members who are Diamond, Diamond Plus, or Pinnacle. And this is a dedicated lounge just for them. If you're one of these members, all you do is you swipe your SeaPass card to get in, and you have access to the lounge. And what's nice in the evening, there is a hosted happy hour with the concierge staff on board, as well as drinks provided for you with waiter service. It's kind of nice. The Diamond Concierge is something that you should be very well aware of if you are a Diamond member, because they're kind of your own little guest services person. Similar to the Suite Concierge, the Diamond Concierge is there to help you with any issues you may have, answer questions, book reservations for you. So even if you're not staying in a suite, but you're a Diamond member above, it's a nice perk and benefit. And throughout the day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they'll have light snacks, hors d'oeuvres served here as well for you to enjoy. There's also a coffee maker, which can make espressos and macchiatos, which is really nice. It's complimentary, so take advantage of this great perk if you are a Diamond member or above. Of course, on Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas, you'll also find the Royal Theater. The Royal Theater is at the front of the ship, where you will find evening entertainment every night of the cruise. Sometimes it's a game show, sometimes it's a stage production, sometimes it's a musical act, comedian, juggler, everything in between. You're going to find entertainment here in the Royal Theater each evening to enjoy. And admission here is usually just first come, first serve. It's a pretty big space, and so they can usually handle most crowds. For some of the signature shows on board the Ovation of the Seas, you're actually going to have a lot more competition for it. So if you need to make a reservation for the show, I recommend doing so via the Royal Caribbean app. It's super easy to do so, and you make a reservation, you're good to go. And that way you can enjoy great views of these shows in here. By the way, when you make a reservation, there is no reserving of specific seats. It is first come, first serve for the seats. So it's just a matter of you getting in the theater more than anything. Next up is the photo gallery. We're going to head and check out the photo gallery. If you want to purchase some of the photos that you've taken on board the ship, those photographers that take your photos, it's complimentary to do so. There's no cost for you to take the photo, but if you actually want to purchase it, this is the place to go. The photo gallery offers you can review it at any point by scanning your SeaPass card. You can see all the photos. It's really nice. No more of these printouts they did in the old days. It's all digital, and you also have some options purchasing some additional photo add-ons if you need a memory card or whatnot. And of course, the world famous Schooner Bar is nearby as well. The Schooner Bar is just a staple of any Royal Caribbean ship. a nautical theme bar with a piano that usually every evening you've got live piano music to enjoy. There's also trivia in here quite often. I love the Schooner Bar, not just because of the great nautical theme, because it's just a fun spot to hang out. And in the evening, it really gets busy with that piano player. So make sure you get a seat early if you want to check that out. Right next to the Schooner Bar is the Chops Grill. Chops Grill is Royal Caribbean Steakhouse, where you're going to get plenty of great cuts of steak to enjoy, along with some other things like lamb chops and chicken. But Chops is all about the steak. It is a classic steakhouse experience, and this is a specialty restaurant, so this does cost extra, but you pay the cover charge in order to get in here, and then pretty much everything's included. You've also got Izumi. This is the sushi only, so there's no hibachi or anything like that here, but if you like sushi rolls, this is the place to go. You're gonna have a good selection of fine Japanese sushi to enjoy, and it is open during dinner and lunch on some days as well. This also costs extra. This is a specialty restaurant, and you pay for each item you order. It's not a cover charge, just you pay for what you order, kind of like fish and chips up above. And of course, you have the Bionic Bar on Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas. Bionic Bar is a robot bartender that makes drinks as you order them. There are tablets right in front of there, and you place an order for a drink. There's pre-packaged items you can pick from, or you can make your own concoction, and then the robots actually mix the drinks and make them for you and then serve it to you. It's a really cool idea. Basically, the robot bartenders can use all the items above the robot, and they can dispense drinks, add ice, mix it, shake it, and then pour it and serve. It's really cool. The only limitation is it can't be anything that needs to be refrigerated. So if you're looking for a frozen drink as an example, they can't make that. But margaritas are always a good choice for the robotic bar at the Bionic Bar. It's kind of fun, and a lot of people just kind of like chilling out here and kind of seeing it. It's definitely a spectacle in and of itself because it's cool. It's robots making drinks. The Voom desk is if you have any issues with the internet service on board, you want to go there. And right next door is the shore excursion desk where you can, again, ask questions or book a shore excursion. My advice is to book your excursions before the cruise, but inevitably you may have a question about an excursion, or you want to see what other tours are available, or you're thinking about booking a tour at the last minute, then the shore excursion desk is where you want to go. The tablets you see over there are for you to be able to book something via self-service kiosk, but you can also do it via the Royal Caribbean app or talking to somebody. They can assist you as well. So really, the Esplanade is kind of this hub of activity. A lot of different things happening over here, including some fabulous art on the Royal Esplanade. You know, Royal Caribbean is big on art. Every ship a little bit different with different motifs and artistic touches to it, and I love what they've done here on Ovation. The studio is a private sitting room where you can go and have your own private portraits taken. So that way, instead of going to like the public spaces where you only take a couple photos, here, if your family want to take a longer session, you can do so. And you've also got Wonderland, another specialty restaurant. Wonderland is a specialty restaurant loosely based on Alice in Wonderland. It all looks really weird. I freely admit that. It doesn't taste nearly as weird as it sounds, but they kind of like to add a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of motif of styling to make you question what you're about to eat. But at the end of the day, you're still having chicken or fish or steak, but it's just kind of everything's a little different, a little interesting. And Wonderland, I think, is one of these special restaurants you got to try at least once because it's just so different than anything else, because the experience is equally as important as the food being served here. So definitely a fun time when you dine at Wonderland on Ovation of the Seas, and you should definitely make reservations in advance for any of these special restaurants, whether we're talking about Chops Grill, Izumi, Wonderland. Make reservations. And if you're looking to save money on specialty restaurants, by the way, my other tip for you is to maybe use a Royal Caribbean dining package. Before the cruise line will offer dining packages you can purchase that will help save on the actual cost of eating at all these individual restaurants on your own. So keep that in mind. Moving down the Royal Esplanade, we're going to enter an area called the Via. The Via is this area between the Royal Esplanade and 270. A lot of great art. It's a very relaxing and calming area. And it's really interesting because basically Royal Caribbean took what is otherwise known as an elevator lobby area and a connection place and kind of made it its own spot with its own look to it and motif. And it's a great spot to just kind of hang out. And this is an area where I'm not sure you'd be like, well, let's go to the Via. Like it's that kind of exciting or anything like that. But it's more of just a, hey, there's some open chairs here. Let's have a seat and check it out. There's also some shopping over here in the Via as well. And you have Jamie's Italian, another classic Royal Caribbean specialty restaurant. Jamie's Italian is made by Jamie Oliver, the famous British celebrity chef. And this is all about fresh pastas and Jamie Oliver's take on Italian food. So it's not quite classic Italian, but it's more of a modern take on classic Italian, if you will. So you're still going to find the usual stuff here. And what's nice about James Italian is, again, the fresh pastas and some of the unique approaches to what you've otherwise known to be Italian food. And Jamie's Italian is a cover charge restaurant, so you pay the cover charge per person, and then everything in the menu is included with your cost over there. And they have a really good selection of foods. I love their appetizers. Their eggplant parm is actually really, really good. And depending on when you dine there, depending on if it's lunch or dinner, different items on the menu. James Italian is open for lunch and dinner. Lunch on most days, not every single day, but dinner every single day. And yes, save room for dessert. The epic brownie is really good. Check it out. There's also outdoor seating at Jamie's Italian on Ovation of the Sea. Something Royal Caribbean really doesn't do, especially restaurants, is outdoor seating. Now in Alaska, yeah, not really going to be a very popular choice, but it is something that does exist. If you're going during a warmer time of the year, they may open the outdoor seating to have the option for you. So it's nice to have that kind of breeze, and weather permitting, it can be a great option, in fact. Right next door, you've got the wine bar. The wine bar is your typical vintages wine bar where you can enjoy wine by the glass. You can order bottles of wine. If you're a wine kind of person, this is where you want to go, because this is going to have the largest selection of wine available on Royal Caribbean. You know, a lot of bars will offer wine, but if you're looking for a good selection of it, like the best selection of wines, this is the place to go. There's also these self-serve wine stations where you can get wine by the glass. And what's interesting about this is they provide a greater variety of them because they can keep them fresh in these machines, their dispensers. It's really cool. Something else you can also get at the wine bar are cigars. If you'd like to purchase those as well, you can get them at the wine bar at Vintages. Whether you're a wine fan or not, I really like the fact they have really comfortable chairs at Vintages. It's a really nice touch. You've also got the art gallery right across from Vintages. So this is where, if you're interested in maybe going to one of the art auctions on board, you can preview the gallery and see some of the pieces that they'll be auctioning off later on during the cruise. And of course, you have Next Cruise on Ovation of the Seas. This is where you book a Royal Caribbean cruise. So Next Cruise is going to give you not a discount on the cruise. It's actually the same price of whether you book a cruise at Next Cruise or at home. The difference is you're going to get reduced deposit and you're going to get extra onboard credit. So while the price is the same, whether you book it at Next Cruise or at home, Royal Caribbean will literally give you extra money for booking your cruise at Next Cruise in the form of onboard credit, which is a really nice perk because you're going to book the cruise anyway. You can book it at Next Cruise. And after booking cruise, you might be a little hungry. It's time for a snack. How about Cafe at 270, which is kind of like Park Cafe on some of the other Royal Caribbean ships, but you've got a good variety of food. It's open for breakfast, lunch, and then late afternoon. They're not quite open for dinner, but they've got food during most of the day. You'll also find paninis here, salads, a great bagel bar in the morning, I have to say, and also the option for paying extra for coffees and lattes. By the way, those coffees and lattes are included with your drink package. If you have one of those, you can go over there to use it. But Cafe 270 is a great grab and go, quick eat option, whether you're looking for a full meal or just something to, kind of fill your stomach for a second in a snack. Well, then Cafe at 270 is a great choice for you. And there is complimentary coffee and juices. And after you grab your snack, you can enjoy the view over at 270. 270 is the signature area of any Quantum class ship. This is a theater area where they'll have shows performing throughout the cruise, and there's also live entertainment here, different things happening. It's an incredible area. So 270 is called 270 because of the fact that it's on the back of the ship and provides a 270-degree view of the ocean behind you. So it's an amazing view, 2 decks tall, and really the entertainment in 270 is unparalleled. Royal Caribbean spent a lot of money and time developing different things that use robo screens and platforms to move up and down. It's a unique space that Royal Caribbean takes perfect advantage of to provide some really cool performances in here. And make sure you make some time to check out all the shows, or as many shows as you possibly can see in 270, because whether it's the virtual concert or some of the shows on board, everything's a little bit different, and it's just a cool area to go into. And even just during the daytime, in which there's no shows going on, it provides fantastic views of the ocean around you, and there's lots of great seating to enjoy. I really like it quite a bit. You'll also find the library on the back of 270, kind of hard to find, but it is there if you want to check out some of the books they have, as well as having some of the options for computers you can use as the internet cafe, and the workshop, which is available for arts and crafts and whatnot. But really, 270 is all about the shows, performances that are in here. It's kind of fun. It's kind of a unique area, and it's hard to describe these shows. You're watching these shows, and you got to be there to truly understand them because they are all about the presentation. They're incredible to see, so I highly recommend checking out, whether it is Pixels or really anything in between. There's a lot of cool things happening over in 270 on Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas. So heading back out of 270, there's one area we still haven't seen, and that is the outer Promenade Deck. So like any Royal Caribbean ship, there's an outside deck you can go to on Alaska. It may not be the nicest area when you're at sea, but this is a place where you can go kind of relax. It's a quiet area. It encompasses most of the deck. You can't quite do a full circle of it, but it does go on the outside. So it's a great spot for watching what's passing by you, reading a book. It's a quiet outdoor area. If you're looking, you want to have the sea breeze, then this is the place for you because there's plenty of it. And it's nice just to have that sea breeze, wind blowing by, or maybe taking an evening stroll after dinner. I really like going out to the outer deck on the Promenade Deck to kind of just take it all in. It's really nice. So there you have a look at Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas from top to bottom. Everything you need to see on Ovation of the Seas. It's a really cool ship. And if you have a chance to check her out, whether you're going to Alaska, Australia, or like I said, anywhere else, who knows where Ovation will be going next. It's a fun ship, lots to do on board. That's the name of the game when it comes to a quantum class ship. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite thing to do on a quantum class ship? If you've been on Ovation of the Seas, what's your favorite part about the ship? I'd like to read some of your comments below. And make sure also while you're down there, subscribe to our channel, like our video, and hit that little bell icon so that way YouTube lets you know when we have a brand new ship tour to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.